So after watching Death Note recently, I gotta say that Light Yagami, the main protagonist, was a very fascinating and developed character in this show. We saw the most out of him, and in the 37 episodes that he was shown in, boy did we fully know his character and see him coming to life. When we see him for the first time prior to him discovering the Death Note, we see him as a high school student, disgusted by the world and its rotten people and criminals in it. He still wants to obtain the cleansed world with bright skies and rid of these evildoers. His sense of justice is still there, which was also present in Kira, and this is a good guy with a great motivation who will go to the extreme to save and glorify this ridded world. He doesn't look to obtaining the godlike status present and later in the series, and he also doesn't go around wanting to rid of those innocent lives who get in those ways. He seems like a good guy with intentions to purify everything and for a bright future ahead. However, upon discovering Ryuk's Death Note, he sees this as a way to clear the world and for something to actually help him obtain this goal. Finally, something that can to help him cleanse this world once and for all. And at first he's just ridding of these murderers and criminals, which proves him as the justice-filled hero, where he's closer to obtaining that goal. However, the more criminals that are fading away, the more he begins to get bored with it and also getting too engaged with purifying the world. This goal is still somehow present despite the fact that a good portion of it has already been cleansed out. This is where he wants to obtain the godlike status, as he thinks he's the best human fit for this title. This ends up being one of his biggest turning points in Light's character. He promises to shun anybody who gets in his way and write their name. With this power right here, this really does begin to getting to him, and this power begins to show the corrupt side of Light and just goes to him, gets to his head, literally. Kira begins to take over Light more than Light himself. Kira is no longer about justice anymore. Kira is the definition of power, insanity, and greed. And a good portion of this is the annoyance that there is someone just as smart as he is. He begins to feel these tensions and firing hatred, which adds more to the insane Kira side, which slowly begins to develop. Adding more to this theory is in due that when Light loses his memories, we don't see him as this murderous killer that we saw later on. He's a justice-based detective helping L solve mysteries, and he doesn't even know what a Death Note is, but he still has that sense of purifying the world. He is a good-hearted person in this, and that side of Kira is no longer there. But yet when Light gets his memories back, all that just forgets about it, and we saw a little glimpse of what could have happened if Light didn't discover the Death Note. He would probably go on and solve more mysteries with L, and that genius side would work together so well with the other genius. Once Light gets the big obstacle out of the way, L, while convincing Rem, pretty much tricking Rem into writing L's name in the Death Note, he begins to feel relieved and accomplished, as now he can look towards the future and how brighter he can make it. Because now that he's gotten rid of everyone important in his way, Light just goes straight into madman mode. Not only is the world already kind of purified, getting more purified as is, he's also more obtaining towards this godlike status. Heck, in the second opening of Death Note, there's a scene where Light is maniacally laughing, and this is where the insane side of the character begins to show even more, as that serious, righteous person has become an insane, power-devoted monster right after killing L. And Light's scene right before his death shows his life before he got the Death Note, and how much happier he was before he lost all his sanity and the goal went too far. He tears and cries as how this literally pulled a 180 on how his life could have been, and the goal of obtaining the perfect society was thrashed away. Without this Death Note, Light could have worked a way to still purify the world no matter what. He could have earned and worked hard with society itself, and even L, to rid of the criminals using these punishments. But the near unlimited power was too much, and ultimately prevented him from what he worked towards in the first place. So ultimately, his own self-will and ability to control his actions prevented him from using this to the greater good, and was his biggest downfall at the end of the day, since the way he dies is literally by his own best weapon that he used the most in the first place, Ryuk pretty much writing Light's name in the Death Note. So I hope you all enjoyed this video giving my opinion on the Death Note impacting Light's life on this series. I do want to do some more Death Note videos because I find this a very interesting series to talk about, and even though the community for Death Note might not be as active as, you know, it was like 10 years ago or whatever, I still want to cover like maybe a few videos here and there. And once again, guys, just so you know, I'm still gonna do Dragon Ball content. Don't think this is gonna be like giant break for Dragon Ball content or whatever. I'm still gonna do Dragon Ball content, but like I've been saying earlier this year, I'm definitely gonna be diversifying my content a lot more, and yeah. But anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. Ninja out. Peace, everybody.